Welcome to the Fezzer Garage. I'm Justin and this is YouTube's most seriously average car channel. Now for today's video we've got a bit of a rarity on this channel, an electric car. I got invited by Ford to go to Mallorca to try out their Mustang Mach-E, their signature electric car. Well actually that's a bit of a lie. I didn't get invited by Ford because, well, nobody invites me anywhere, to be honest. We went to Majorca for 5 days. We wanted a bit of a switch off, just literally disconnect, chill. We booked into a really nice hotel called Cabana Hotel and Spa, I think it was called, and a little bit inland. Lovely place, absolutely brilliant. If you want to relax, just chill and no noise and just peace and quiet where you can just switch off, highly recommend that hotel. Really nice. And Majorca, we were there 5 days and it was really nice. I've never been to Majorca before. Lovely place. If you've never been to Majorca, definitely worth visiting. Forget the Magaluf side of the island where it's more for like young people partying. The rest of the island is really beautiful and some amazing places. And if you're wondering in the video, which is coming up in a bit, why my face is a bit red, is because, well, we rented a boat towards the end of the break, and we were out all day on the boat, and then I basically fell asleep and sizzled myself, which is definitely not recommended. For when we arrived in Mallorca, I'd actually booked a just normal type of rental car, sort of Seat Ibiza type size, but then they offered me the option to upgrade to an electric car, and I said, no, it's all right, thank you very much, I'll take the petrol one. And then they said, well, it's a Mustang Mach-E. I went, oh, okay, well, that's more interesting. So we'll take that. So I upgraded and we took that car. The chap at Europe Car, where we rented the car, said that it had 400 horsepower, but ultimately I found out it's probably not 400 horsepower, it's more like 200, I think it's the base version, I think it's 269 horsepower. I think I backed that up as well because I checked online, and when it was fully charged when we picked it up, it had 440 kilometers range. And it looks like the base version, which I think that's about, is it about 269, no, what is that in miles? It's 273 miles. So that's what it backs up that it's the base version. We did take a bit of a time trying to get out of the parking at the airport. For some reason the car wouldn't sort of switch on. Obviously it's just a button, but you pressed it, and I was trying all sorts of stuff, and I ended up having to try and Google how to start the Mustang Mach-E. Sounds ridiculous. I don't know what happened there because we didn't have any more problems with that later on. But once we did get it running, and I found all the time that I had the car there, I just really missed, like, it's a really strange sensation with electric car where you switch it on and it doesn't make any noise. So sometimes I just made my own noise. All right, let's go. Should we start the car? Anyway, enough chit chat. Let's fly over to Mallorca and get in the car. Let's get rolling. So camera gear is a little bit limited today because I forgot my support for the other camera. So I'm using my phone without an external mic. So I'm hoping it's going to be okay. Fortunately, this car's very quiet, so we shouldn't have any noise issues. If you follow my channel for any time, you know I'm really not a fan of electric cars. They're sort of being imposed on us, aren't they? You know, all the politicians are making these decisions that electric is the future and everything has to become electric, and that's just how it's going to be. I don't like being told what to do though. So this is our last day here in Mallorca, and like I said, we started with 444 kilometers. We're on a range of remaining 77-ish kilometers. Now we're here all day. Our flight leaves quite late tonight, so we've got this problem now because I haven't had to recharge the car all the time I've been here. Fortunately, Majorca is quite a small island. Well, not too small, but small enough where you're not travelling huge distances all the time to go somewhere, and so we haven't had to recharge it. The couple of times where I thought, oh, there might be an opportunity to recharge, for example, in some parking somewhere, there was always a couple of places for electric cars and they were always full. And one of the times, people with petrol cars had parked in the electric car parking bays, which was really annoying. So I haven't charged the car at all. And And so far, if we don't go anywhere today, we're going to be all right. But we would like to do some sightseeing today at some point. So we might have to go and charge it up. So the whole range anxiety thing is a thing. Because actually, I was just asking the hotel, I said, oh, do you know anywhere I can charge the electric car? And they were like, oh, no, we don't. I'm like, oh, okay. And Majorca's really pushing electric cars because if you park like in the town centre, for example, if you park in Palma, you don't have to pay. It's free, you can park all day. So there's lots of things they're doing to try and encourage people to have electric cars. But then the infrastructure it's not there. So anyway, I'm desperately trying to drive carefully now to make sure that we don't have to recharge today, but I think we might have to. The first thing you notice really with this car is how easy it is to drive, because you don't really need to do a lot. You sort of, once you work out how to start it, just put it in drive, press the accelerator and off you go. And it's all relatively intuitive. So there are 3 drive modes. There's Whisper, which is probably the most economic. Remember, I haven't done any research on this car at all. I'm assuming Whisper mode is the most economical mode. Then you've got Active, which I suppose is a little bit more lively. And I had it in a different mode, which I can't remember what it was called now. Untamed. So in Untamed mode, in theory, I'm assuming you've got all the power, quickest acceleration, that sort of stuff. I've literally always driven around with Untamed mode all the time I've been here. It's also got, which I quite like, is this one pedal drive. So the one pedal drive, you get a lot of regen, so you basically hardly need to use the brakes at all. As soon as you let go of the accelerator, the car will brake itself. And I really like that. I can't say that it's done much for the range, because I never saw the range really like change significantly when I'm regenning quite a lot. So I don't think it's really doesn't have that much effect, really. I don't think, in terms of actually generating a lot of electricity. But I quite like it. There's an option here for propulsion sound. So propulsion sound, I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but I'm going to put it on, right? Have a listen. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's a bit odd. It's like it's trying to be like a subtle V8 or something, but it's not. It's just like a hum. I actually disabled it. One of the things that I found that you really need to get used to in this car is the brakes. They're really strong, but like ridiculously strong. I think what happens is that when you first touch the brake, you get the regen kick in, but then if you push it a bit more, the real brakes come in. So all of a sudden you've got 2 sets of brakes, and then you just like this all the time. So you're nearly flying through the windscreen. So when I first got the car, it's one of those where you look like a really stupid driver because you can't seem to like drive very smoothly. Although this isn't the most powerful car, it's definitely not the most powerful car. If I floor it, it goes. It's not super quick, but it's quick enough. Overtaking cars and everything, it's been great. I love the smoothness of it. That's really good. It just lacks a bit of drama, I suppose. I do really like the look of this car. I think it looks really nice. I love the styling of it. It's very imposing, but you have to remember this is a really big car. It's very big, it's very roomy inside, super practical. As a practical car, it's pretty good, although it is quite big, and it does weigh a lot. We're looking at around 2 tons of car, obviously because of the batteries. I haven't had much of an opportunity to really chuck this car around some really nice roads, but when I have had some opportunity and there's some chance of seeing what this car was like going around a corner at high speed, I suppose it did what I thought it was going to do. It's a big heavy car. It feels okay because, well, it's a Mustang. Is it really? It sort of goes okay around corners, but it's not something that you're going to go, oh, I'm going to jump, get up early on a Sunday morning and jump in the Mach-E and go for a drive up the mountains. That's not that sort of car. Here we go. Oof. Just nearly lost the back end there. definitely rear-wheel drive. Let's just sum this car up a little bit. I've enjoyed having it for a few days because it's not a car I would ever consider buying. So I'm happy that I've tried it. But it's also just reinforced in my mind that electric cars, it's a depressing and sad future ahead of us. Because what's going to differentiate one electric car from the next electric car? There's no noise, there's no engine sound, there's no character. The character is the whirring, the fake sound that you can apply to it. Okay, you know, handling wise, but you know, most cars handle okay these days. The looks, lots of cars look good these days. But what's going to differentiate one electric car from the other? Power? More power? We just want more power? It was like, how much power do we need? This has 269. To be honest, that's absolutely fine. It's what I've always thought. They just lack any sort of emotion. There's no character. It's a bit like driving in a computer game, you know? I mean, this has so much electronics, it's crazy. It does everything for you. As long as you know how to switch it on, as soon as you move away, everything else is controlled. I think it'll even brake for you and everything. It's just, I mean, it's impressive, but also rather sad. Because what you notice in this car as well is that there's no Ford badges. There's no Ford badges anywhere. It's literally badged Mustang. This is a Mustang. But only in name, no way by nature. This is not a Mustang. I don't know what Ford are doing calling this a Mustang. But the car's comfortable enough. I mean, it's slightly firm. It's definitely quite a firm car. But it's a nice car. And if you're in the market for electric cars, I'm sure you'd be really happy with it. It looks good too, which is a bonus. Just not for me. I'm a petrol head, and the giveaway there is petrol. I like things that make a sound, that have a character. I think that really my t-shirt summed it up absolutely perfectly. Hold on. It didn't quite end there because we decided to spend the rest of the day doing some sightseeing, and we were a bit worried about the range because obviously you need to get back to the airport, and we just didn't know whether we'd have enough to have a look around, do some sightseeing and get back to the airport with the charge that we had left. So we googled like local charging stations. We found some that were like 10 minutes away. So we went to one that was 10 minutes away. There was one slot available, so we put the car in there. And we tried to connect the car up, which wasn't too bad. And then the machine said, download an app. Why do you have to download an app? Why can't you just put your credit card in, which is really annoying. So download an app, and they were trying to work this app, and it didn't work. So we ended up calling the company that owns the charger. They were like, oh, no, unfortunately that charger's not working. You'll have to go somewhere else. Oh, bloody hell. So disconnect everything, off we go, Google again. We found another one, we got there. And there were two spaces, one was full, the other one was empty, but it was so narrow and the car beside it was occupying part of the space, we couldn't get the car in there. So we Googled again and was like, bloody hell, we need to find another one. I thought, let's try and find one that belongs to one of the big electricity companies in Spain. So I thought that must be more reliable. So we managed to find one other 10 minutes away, so we drove there. Ironically, the electric parking base for this one, we're in a petrol station. So the petrol station saved the day because there were 2 or 3 slots there, they're all empty. So we put the car in its place, hooked it up, and then download the app again. Another app to download, put all your card details in, your personal details, everything. It seemed to not be a very quick charger. I asked for like the fastest charge possible, and I think it was like 12 o'clock or something, or half 12, and it said it would be 100% full by 8 o'clock in the evening. It's like, literally we could be here all day trying to charge this car. So we thought, well, we'll just do maybe an hour or something and then see what happens. So this petrol station is in the middle of nowhere. Fortunately, there was a little coffee area there, so we sat and we had a coffee for literally an hour. We went back to the car, and then we had like, I think it was like 25% of battery left at this point. So we gave up because we tried playing games in the car because there's games. Now I understand why all these electric cars have games that you can play on the screen, because you literally sit in the car and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, watching people come in and out of the petrol station, filling up their car with petrol and leaving within a few minutes. And we were there for an hour, maybe over an hour by the time we'd actually connected everything, downloaded the app, and it's just painful. So we did do our sightseeing and we managed to get back to the airport, but what a faff, you know. That was the third place that we tried to do it. All this app downloading, then the machine's not working, then the final one was really slow. We didn't really get a lot of charge into the car. So, and it just backed up the whole issue with electric cars. You do have range anxiety. I think what I discovered the most was that I spent most of my time thinking about the range. Are we going to be okay? Try not to floor it all the time. You're just really conscious of the fact that if you run out, you're going to have a real problem. Especially, you can't just do like a quick splash and dash like you can do with a petrol car and just get to wherever you're going. You really need to plan. And that is a real pain in the backside. So, I think on that note, we're definitely not getting an electric car. I hope you're all well, and I'll see you next week. No, I won't. I'll see you this week, because this video was last week's video, so I will see you in a couple of days. Hope you're all well. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.